everything has changed. Henry said they'll be canceling the Kickstarter and refunding everybody their money. I recently received this Micronics SLS 3D printer to review, and while I was really excited about it, if you've seen the previous video, I had not yet managed to get it working, despite putting a decent amount of effort into it. But I was still really excited to get it up and running. I really wanted to be able to put it through its paces and give you a proper review, as well as have it as a tool in my shop for use in future projects. And so the next step was really to get Micronics to send me some replacement parts. So let's jump back to that before I got the haircut. All right, got new parts for the Micronics SLS printer. We'll see if we can get this working. Let me get Henry on the phone here. He's gonna walk me through installing the new auger. Hi, Henry.
So let's get this unboxed. And
yeah.
So today there are 3 things that I actually want to fix with the
Okay.
printer. The 2 of them is the ones you already know. So with the powder flipper, the gear not engaging, that's the first thing we want to fix.
Yep.
The second thing we want to fix is the auger getting jammed, obviously.
Yep.
And then there's also a third issue that we discovered during internal testing. That is, under some circumstances, the printer can short the neutral to ground.
Okay.
And this is a design oversight on my part. I take 100% responsibility, but it's about a 10-minute fix.
Okay. Okay, so this is the powder, and then this has the auger and the board. That looks like that's probably the auger assembly. What would you like to do first here?
Let's start with the auger replacement.
Okay, have that. So I'll take the build chamber out, and we'll take the back off again.
Yep. Yeah, like now that I have experience and actually know like how things are, like how everything is put together, how all the circuit board components work, everything in the world just feels a lot more sketchy. Because like, if I really think about it, if like a piece of 1 micron gold wire within the printer breaks, you know, within the bonding wire of the IC, the whole thing doesn't work.
Yeah, but this was kind of what we were talking about, you know, last time we talked, which is like, it's the difference between doing like the R&D and like hard engineering work to get something that works, to getting something that's ready for, you know, do all the polish and whatnot, to get something that's ready to ship, that's ready for customers to use, you know, all of that.
Yep.
Right.
That's why we are promising a Kickstarter delivery time of, you know, 8 to 12 months.
I think a lot of people underestimate how much work it is to get from a pretty good looking prototype to something they can mass produce and ship. It's a lot of details. So I should put this down on the front now.
Yep. Let's unplug the wire for the auger motor.
Yeah, that's done.
And then, yeah, just remove the entire auger assembly. It's just 2 screws.
There we go.
You want, tip it that way so that it doesn't leak all over the place.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna empty this auger back into the sift bin. That's pretty good. Okay. Got most of it. New augers here. Okay.
Now let's plug the auger motor in.
Okay.
Let's tilt it back up and then fix the gear meshing issue.
Okay.
Take a look at the worm gear, see if the side profile looks like it's straight or if it's worn out.
This gear here?
Yep.
Okay.
If you look straight from the back side, right? Does
Yep.
the profile look like there are curves worn into it, or does it look like it's straight?
Looks pretty straight to me.
Okay. Can you grab like a piece of paper napkin and then turn it, or just turn it by hand, see if there's any resistance?
I mean, there's powder in there, so yes.
Does it feel like it's like taking a lot of resistance to turn?
I mean, there's quite a bit of powder, so yes.
But you are able to turn it all the way around by hand, and the resistance is pretty even all around.
Yep. Well, I think if there wasn't powder, then the answer would be yes. But there's a fair bit of powder in there right now.
So let's replace that gear just to be safe.
Okay.
So the gear is in the shift pin replacement, and it's pretty tight in there, so you might need to use pliers to get that out.
Got it. Doesn't look bad to me.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Let's replace it.
Okay. Where is the gear? Is it inside the sifter?
Yes, and I also included a few tools.
And I align the set screw with the flat?
I don't think I found
there's-
a flat on there.
Oh yeah, there is no flat.
Just stop it in, and then tighten until it just barely strips. There is not enough engagement on the M3 thread, but during testing we found that it's strong enough to hold. So
Okay. So I'm aligning the end of the gear with the end of the shaft?
yeah, just push it all the way in.
Yeah, okay. I guess that's there. All right. And you said tighten this until it strips?
Tighten it until you barely start to feel it. Like get it tight but not stripped.
Okay.
Yeah, don't strip it, but it doesn't take a lot of force.
Okay.
And then yeah, let's just put the insulation and the thing back on. Actually, before that, let's grease up the gear. So just apply generously on there.
All right, that should be good. Back on now. Is the circuit board fix in here?
Let's put on the back of the build chamber, so we are done
Yep.
with the build chamber. I do admit the maintenance and repair on this printer is like not nearly as easy as like FDM machines or resin machines, just because the nature of the powder.
Sure.
But like, we try and minimize the number of screws and all that.
I'm gonna do a little bit of powder cleanup here. This is not my favorite part. It's really hard to get that thing back on. Okay.
One more thing, I want to try to make sure that the gear meshing issue doesn't happen again.
Okay.
And that is to slightly file down the 4 black knobs on the side of the printer, of the chamber that slides into the printer. The 4 hex bolts at the top of the build chamber.
Okay.
There's 2 on
Yep.
2 on each side. So can you grab like a file, and then you want to start filing from the bottom? Let's do like 0.5 to 1 millimeter.
Okay. All right. I think we'll call that 0.5 millimeter to a millimeter.
Can you send me a picture, and I'll send you a picture too? Yep, that looks perfect.
Okay, great.
And you saw the picture I sent you, the little 2
Yep.
indicating. So you want to take like just a hair off the top of that one as well.
Off the top. Okay.
And then after you're done with that, the last 2 are the 2 little white plastic skids that's near the bottom in front on the printer.
Okay.
So that should be all the issues you've experienced so far all resolved.
Okay.
Hopefully. And then now let's move on to the fix for the potential issue with the printer.
Okay. Let me get. Oops. That is something that I wouldn't mind seeing fixed. This slams in a little overly aggressive way. Let's do the circuit board fix now.
This does involve opening up the top of the printer, so
Okay.
everything you've done so far with the auger and all that, you are 100% feel free to share that on the camera, but I do politely ask that you don't show the inside of the machine. Of course, I can't stop you, but as you understand, there are tons of competitors out there who are probably going to be watching every frame of the video trying to reverse engineer it. So
Sure.
It would be very helpful if we can keep the inside of the printer not showing on camera. Do you think that's possible?
I won't make any promises, but I don't have an interest in leaking your confidential IP. So we'll do what we can.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Perfect. So let's first take the SD card out.
Okay.
Perfect.
Am I removing the top here?
Screws, yes.
Yeah.
So this
There
will
we
be
go.
like- and then you want to take the power supply, leave all the wires in, just tilt it up and then move it toward the side.
So just over the back?
Yeah, that'll work too. Just get it out of the way. After you remove the 4 screws holding down the main board and you can get access to that standoff, you want to take a pair of needle nose pliers
Oh.
to get rid of that standoff.
I got it. Okay. I assume it's the Galvo setup you don't want to show off.
Just the overall layout of the top of the printer, because once they see how little component there is, they would be a lot more, inclined to just copy everything, I guess. Because you can see there are only 2 circuit boards in there.
Yeah.
A lot of people are expecting it to be a lot more complicated than it is.
Yeah.
And we just want to, we are a small company, we don't really have a lot of ways to protect ourselves besides just keeping things simple and,
Yeah.
letting other people figure things out. So,
Well, as soon as you start selling units, that ship will have sailed.
There for at least the next few months.
Yeah, I understand. This board is not moving even with those screws.
Yeah, you just need to push a little bit hard on it. There's a little piece of thermal pad underneath.
Okay. Oh, I got it.
And then just slide it back and then reinstall the 3 remaining
Yeah.
screws. The board is rigid enough that it shouldn't cause any issues, and with the thermal pad underneath it, that should be plenty enough to keep it from shorting.
Standoff is removed.
And then just make sure all the wires are still plugged in, nothing came loose. And then just put the power supply back on.
Yeah. Let me get the board put down first. Okay, I think I have this all back together. Should I put the top back on?
Yeah, sure. So now that with all the 3 things fixed, the printer should be up to 100%, I think. Let's start the print.
Okay, it's in there. SD card. Power cable. Turns on. All right, so I'm starting the job that I sliced, not the job that you sliced.
Okay.
Okay. All right, let's see how this print did. Another recode fail. Hooray! That's funky. I'll take a picture of it for Henry and see what he wants to do. But this definitely underscores my belief that this is not ready for prime time here. So I talked to Henry. I checked some gears and stuff. None of them panned out. He wants me to run another test print. So I gotta get this one out of here, sift it, re-add powder. I'm gonna switch to a full-blown respirator here. So I'm bringing the build plate up. All right, I'm gonna go wash my hands. Anyone who tells you this isn't messy is lying. I can't imagine doing this indoors. Clean hands and clean room wipes. Okay. I'm gonna go quickly slice the file Henry wants me to print. So take an hour. So Henry had me check a couple screws, remove the print, sift it out. I guess I didn't start the camera, I thought I did. But anyway, I've got it running again with a really simple print this time that's only gonna take an hour. So, I don't know, we'll see. All right, let's give this a shot. It looks like it completed successfully. Ooh, it's toasty. Good enough for now, I think. Boy, I don't need to add much. I'm not gonna add any more right now. It's just like an inch or two below the top. Go sandblast this thing. Okay, that's what I printed. So that's what it looks like. Just a TM8 bolt T-head here. I don't know what this is for. Henry said this goes into the back of the printer here. I guess it holds the build chamber back on? That holds it in there, for sure. Here we go. Well, that's gonna run for another 6.5 hours, so it is around 10 o'clock at night. So we'll check on that tomorrow. Ah, crap, it failed again. Let me go talk to Henry. I have a few more things to do and check based on messaging with Henry here. He wants to try and bend around the recoder arm that goes back and forth. We gotta remove the powder cake. Okay, so Henry wants me to move the recoder to the center and then firmly bend it forward towards the window. Make it flex like 10 degrees. And then check if it still moves smoothly. Yeah, it seems to move fine. Just a little stickiness here at the end. Oh, he said he wants it to be perfectly vertical. I can't tell. It's vertical to me and it moves smoothly. This moves very smoothly the whole length. The only place where it seems to have any sort of binding is right at the end here. So if I crank that down, then it gets a little stuck. I'm gonna go send these pictures to Henry and we'll see how this goes. Set to kick off another print. He would like me to record it so that hopefully we can catch the moment at which it is failing here. I'll be back when this print either succeeds or fails. And it failed again. Damn it. Okay, it has been a couple of weeks. I went to OpenSauce and then Teardown. I saw Henry and Luke at OpenSauce, saw one of their machines and how it worked. As part of that and some conversation with Henry in a few days prior to OpenSauce, we decided that the powder flipper back here is probably getting stuck a little bit. There's some rub marks. So Henry's suggestion is that we file that down. So I'm gonna try and clean up as much of the powder in here as I can, and we'll file it down. Let's start by just cleaning all the excess powder out of here that I can get. Definitely sticky, but it's like sticky in the downward. All right, I'm gonna try doing something different here. Looks like there are 3 bolts here I can take out. I don't want to strip this screw out, but I'm getting close to. Alright, well, it's not coming. Alright, I'm just going to pull this down. I don't know how I'm going to keep metal shavings out of here. So Henry's suggestion was blue tape. Actually worked okay. Okay. I think it's getting caught on that bushing there. Yeah, it is. See it. It's getting caught right there. Well, I guess I'm gonna go send these photos to Henry and see what he says to do, because I don't want to just go willy-nilly in here. Ideally, I'd take that flipper off with those 3 screws, but I don't want to strip that middle screw out. So I don't know if there's a trick that I'm missing. It doesn't look like it. It just looks like it's super tightened down or very stuck. So we'll see what he says. Okay, I just talked to Henry to ask him what's the update on replacement bushings, and everything has changed. They are getting acquired. It's not public yet, but it will be by the time this video goes out. They're getting acquired by Formlabs, who makes primarily professional SLA printers, though they do have a couple SLS printers, and they've got a great reputation. I've never used one of their printers, but I've heard nothing but really good things about them. Henry said they'll be canceling the Kickstarter and refunding everybody their money, and Formlabs will be providing everybody who backed the Kickstarter a $1,000 credit towards a Formlabs printer, which start at about $2,500, as well as a free open materials license, which allows you to use third-party material on their printers. I actually didn't know this, but without the open materials license, you can only use Formlabs materials on their printers. And this license typically goes for between $2,000 and $4,000 depending on the specific printer. It doesn't look like that license is yet available for the Form 4, which is their latest entry-level SLA printer. So I guess this is great news if you were a backer and what you actually wanted was a Formlabs SLA printer. With the discount, you can get a Form 3 Plus for around $1,500, or get the newer Form 4 for around $3,500, the same price you backed the Kickstarter for. But if what you really wanted was a desktop SLS printer at a reasonable price, then I don't really know where this leaves you. Henry and Luke, on the other hand, will be moving to Boston. Henry will be apparently leading their SLS team, working on applying what they've learned to the next version of the Formlabs SLS printer. They've been rather tight-lipped about whether that will be based on the Micronics printer or their existing $19,000 and up SLS printers, but we'll see. Look, I'm super happy for Henry and Luke. I think this sounds like a good outcome for them. I asked Henry if he was happy with the terms of the acquisition, and he said he thought it was fair. And as someone who has started multiple companies and been part of a bunch of other startups, I will always congratulate entrepreneurs on having a successful exit. Building a company is really hard, and it requires an ungodly amount of effort, and getting to the point that somebody else wants to acquire it is a huge, huge success. I hope that Henry and Luke are happy and feel proud of this outcome. I think they certainly deserve to. And I hope that this will allow them to continue to focus on the things they clearly love and are really good at, like engineering and research and development. But I'm a bit sad. What does this mean for the future of affordable hobbyist desktop SLS printing? Formlabs is known for building fantastic printers and materials, and they've got this great reputation as a company, but they're really targeted at the business, industrial, and medical world, not hobbyists like you and me. And the prices of both their printers and their materials match that. So does this acquisition mean they're embracing the hobbyist market and are going to offer a desktop SLS printer that's affordable for mere mortals? Or will they continue to focus on making their higher-end SLS printers better using Henry and Luke's expertise in design work? I think we'll just have to wait and see. Now, where do I go from here? I have this printer that's a bit of an orphan. It's a pre-production unit with no support, no possibility of getting new parts, etc. I'm definitely bummed. I have projects I was excited to try with this printer. Obviously, they don't owe me anything. It's normal for reviewers to get to keep the products they review, but there are no guarantees they'll be good or even work. And Henry did say he would send me some replacement bushings once he was done with the acquisition announcement. But I also get that his life is probably super crazy right now, and I understand if that doesn't happen. But if that's the case, then I think it's probably something I can resolve on my own. It's just, I didn't want to start making modifications to their machine on my own while still in the context of reviewing it for a currently running Kickstarter. And I really want to do a teardown and show how cool it is on the inside, as long as Formlabs is cool with it. I haven't signed a formal NDA or anything, but I do take intellectual property concerns really seriously. And I don't know, I don't want to overstep any boundaries. So stay tuned on that. I'll let you know what happens. I would love to know, though, what do you think about this acquisition? Do you think this was the right move? Are you happy? Are you sad? Let me know down in the comments. I'll see you again soon.